Hey everyone, welcome back to Motivation Library.
It's great to be back.
Today, we're going to be diving deep into Colleen Hoover's It Starts With Us.
Ooh.
It's the sequel to It Ends With Us.
Yes.
And if you haven't read It Ends With Us, you might want to check that one out first.
Yeah, you really should.
But basically, in It Starts With Us, we rejoin Lily, and she's navigating the aftermath of her divorce from Ryle. He was a successful neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
But he had some serious anger management problems.
Yeah.
So
Good problems.
it's a really good story about healing and second chances and just the complexities of co-parenting with someone who has those tendencies.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So why is this deep dive so important?
Well, this book really digs into some difficult topics.
Yeah.
But they're super important.
Yeah, like domestic abuse,
Yeah.
forgiveness, finding the strength to move on.
Totally.
You know, it's a really heavy read at times.
Yeah.
But it offers such incredible insights into the human experience.
It really does.
So are you ready to unpack all this?
Absolutely.
All right, let's dive in. Hoover just throws us right back into that turmoil.
Oh, yeah.
Lily's trying to co-parent with Ryle,
Hey.
her daughter Emerson,
Right.
and it's not easy.
Not at all.
I thought it was really interesting how Hoover portrayed Ryle.
Oh, yeah, me too.
He wasn't just like this one-dimensional villain.
Yeah.
He was charming. He's successful.
Right.
He clearly loves Emerson.
Yeah.
But just beneath that, there's this simmering rage and possessiveness
Yeah.
that always threatens Lily's newfound peace.
Absolutely.
What really stood out to me was how the book didn't shy away from showing how Ryle was trying to control Lily even after the divorce.
Right.
Like he'd question the validity of their separation.
Yeah, totally.
And then he would try to like undermine her relationship with Atlas.
Oh, for sure.
And it's just a reminder that abuse isn't always physical.
Right.
It can be so emotionally manipulative.
Oh, yeah.
Now Atlas, he is back in Lily's life.
Yes.
And he becomes that symbol of hope and stability for her.
Yeah.
He's the one that got away,
Mm-hmm.
her first love.
Right.
And he always had a special place in Lily's heart.
Totally.
What did you think about their reconnection?
You know, their reconnection after all these years
Yeah.
was so beautifully written.
Yeah.
I really loved the part where Atlas reads Lily's old journals.
Yes.
It was such a powerful scene.
Oh my God, so powerful.
He really took the time to understand her fully,
Hmm.
not just the Lily she is now,
Yeah.
but the girl she was before Ryle,
Exactly.
before all the pain.
Yeah.
I think that shows what kind of partner he is. He
Yeah.
wants to see all of her,
Right.
the good and the bad. It's like
Yeah.
he gave her that safe space to be vulnerable
Yes.
that maybe she just didn't have with Ryle.
And, you know, it's not always perfect and easy.
No.
Hoover doesn't try to, sugarcoat the fact that healing is a journey.
Right.
You see Lily struggle with, triggers,
Mm-hmm.
flashbacks,
Yeah.
this constant fear of Ryle and his unpredictable behavior.
Totally.
And that's where Hoover's skill as a writer really shines through.
I think so too.
She doesn't avoid those like raw and messy parts of healing.
Yeah.
There's one scene where Ryle pushes Lily against a door
Oh, yeah.
and it just sends her spiraling back to the fear that she felt during their marriage.
Right.
And it shows just how much abuse can affect someone even after they've left that situation.
Totally.
This is really a turning point for Lily.
Yeah.
She realizes she has to take legal action
Yeah.
to protect herself and Emerson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a difficult decision,
Of course.
but it shows how much she's grown.
Yeah.
She's determined to break the cycle.
It's a powerful message.
It really is.
It's like an empowering message for survivors.
Yeah.
Even though she's scared,
Yeah.
she chooses to fight.
Yeah. For her safety and for her daughter's well-being.
Exactly.
So it's like a reminder that
yeah.
seeking help and setting boundaries,
Yeah.
those are like
It's so important.
crucial steps in breaking free from these toxic relationships.
I think that's something that will really resonate with a lot of our listeners.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah.
And this is where the idea of forgiveness in the book comes in.
Yes.
It's not just about forgiving other people.
Right.
It's about forgiving yourself.
Yeah. For the things you couldn't control.
And we see this with Lily, of course,
Yeah.
but also with Atlas.
Right.
He has his own baggage from his past,
Mm-hmm.
growing up in poverty
Yeah.
and neglect.
Yeah. It's tough.
His story is really just resilience
Yeah.
and choosing a different path.
Right.
He could have just as easily gone down this road of bitterness and anger,
Totally.
but instead he puts his energy into building this successful life.
Right.
and he becomes a source of strength for others.
Absolutely.
Hoover's showing us that healing is possible.
It is.
Even after experiencing that deep pain.
Right.
His past doesn't define him.
No.
It shapes him into this compassionate, understanding man that he is.
It really does.
Now, just when you think things are kind of settling down,
Right.
Hoover throws a curveball.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're going to say.
Josh.
Josh.
Atlas's newly discovered half-brother. What a twist.
It really was. What a plot twist.
Yeah.
This just adds a whole new layer to the story.
Yeah.
This idea of family and forgiveness.
Right.
Sibling relationships.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
You know, it's fascinating because this subplot kind of mirrors that main theme of second chances.
Yeah.
You know, Atlas has always wanted a family.
Yeah.
A stable family.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's got this brother he never knew.
Right.
So it's an opportunity to heal and create the family he's always wanted.
But it's not that easy.
But of course,
Right.
It's never easy.
Because Josh grew up feeling abandoned and resentful.
Totally.
He's not exactly welcoming him with open arms.
No.
The way their relationship develops is so interesting.
I think so, too. You see Josh's anger towards Atlas.
Right.
He vandalizes his restaurants.
Yeah.
Adds this layer of tension and conflict to the story.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's a reminder that forgiveness takes time and effort.
It does.
Especially when you're dealing with all that hurt from the past.
Right.
It's amazing to me how Atlas handles it all.
I know.
Despite the hostility,
Yeah.
he's just so understanding and giving Josh grace.
Yeah.
He sees the pain behind that anger.
Right.
And he recognizes that they share those scars from a difficult childhood.
He gets it.
It's a really good example of how forgiveness isn't about saying what someone did was okay.
Right.
It's about letting go of the anger and bitterness.
Yeah.
So that you can heal and move on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also about understanding where the other person is coming from.
Yeah.
I think this whole dynamic between Atlas and Josh also adds to that idea of healthy masculinity that the book explores.
Yeah, I see that.
Atlas's approach to dealing with conflict.
Yeah.
His willingness to be vulnerable.
Totally.
Communicate openly. It's the opposite of how Ryle is.
Yeah, completely different.
Hoover's presenting us with these two different ideas of what it means to be a man.
Right.
It's like strength can be found in empathy, compassion, and facing your emotions head on.
Absolutely.
Which I think is so relevant today.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know, as we kind of rethink what it means to be a man.
Yeah, definitely.
And that brings us to one of the most powerful parts of the book.
Okay.
Atlas's wedding vows.
Ooh, yes.
They're not your typical romantic vows.
Definitely not.
They're raw, they're honest, and they're just so profound. So are you ready to dig into those?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay.
So what makes these vows so different?
Yeah. So like instead of making those big promises of eternal bliss, Atlas acknowledges that things could go wrong.
Yeah.
He's not promising her a fairy tale.
Right.
He's just promising to be present, to cherish every moment through all the good and the bad.
Yeah, it's a realistic view of love.
And that's what makes them so powerful.
I agree.
It's just this realistic view of love.
Yeah.
It's like relationships take work and commitment. You have to be willing to go through the tough times together.
Right.
It's not about pretending everything's perfect.
Yeah.
It's about facing the challenges head on, knowing that love's not always easy,
right,
but it's worth fighting for.
Absolutely.
It really pushes back on that like romanticized idea of love that we see so much.
I know.
All over the place.
Yeah, in books and movies,
yeah,
there's this vulnerability and honesty in his words.
Yeah.
It's refreshing.
It's so refreshing.
It really is.
I think that resonates with readers because it's the truth.
Yeah.
You know, relationships aren't always easy.
Exactly.
Life happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to work through those tough times.
Right.
It's not always about grand gestures.
It's those everyday moments.
It's about being there for each other.
Totally.
Supporting each other through the tough times.
Absolutely.
I think it's interesting how what Atlas went through with Josh really influences how he views commitment.
Yeah, I see that.
He saw firsthand how easily relationships can fall apart.
Right.
How trust can be broken.
Yeah.
But he also saw how powerful forgiveness can be.
Yeah.
And the strength you get from building those real connections.
Absolutely.
Now, even though it's easy to get caught up in the romance between Lily and Atlas,
it is.
The book also shows the reality of co-parenting with an abuser.
Yeah.
I mean, the tension between Lily and Ryle is so intense.
It's a lot.
Hoover doesn't try to hide the fact that it's messy and complicated to share custody with someone like that.
No.
You know, who's manipulative and controlling.
Totally.
And as Lily and Atlas get closer, Ryle gets more jealous and possessive. He's always trying to sabotage their relationship.
Right.
He uses Emerson as a pawn, and it's really sad to see how this affects Lily.
It is.
She's constantly worried about setting him off and putting Emerson in danger. There's this one scene where Ryle shows up at Atlas's restaurant. Bibbs.
Yeah.
And he confronts Atlas.
Right.
Accusing him of trying to steal Lily away.
It's a really intense scene.
And that's so tense.
You can really feel that power imbalance between them.
It shows how abusers use intimidation and threats to try and keep their victims under control.
Absolutely.
But I think it's important to remember that Hoover doesn't make Lily a passive victim.
No, she doesn't.
She fights back.
Yeah.
She sets boundaries.
Right.
She gets a lawyer to protect herself and Emerson.
Yeah.
Her journey is so inspiring.
It is.
She shows how strong survivors can be.
Yeah.
She's not defined by what she went through.
Yeah, she takes back her power.
Yeah, she's taking her power back and creating a safe and loving place for her daughter. And it's amazing to see how her best friend, Alyssa, and her lawyer, Marshall, support her through all of it.
Totally.
They're there for her, reminding her that she's not alone.
Yeah.
It really shows how important it is to have a strong support system when you're dealing with abuse.
It really is.
And then there's the intervention.
Yes.
Lily, Alyssa, and Marshall, they confront Ryle.
Right.
They call him out and they set boundaries.
It's a huge moment for Lily.
It's a turning point.
Yeah.
She finally speaks up and stands up to him. She refuses to be silenced anymore.
It's powerful.
It's such an empowering message for anyone who's experienced that kind of trauma.
Yeah.
But it's not just about confronting Ryle.
Right.
It's about ending this cycle of abuse.
Yeah.
By speaking out and getting help.
Yeah.
Lily's taking steps to protect herself and Emerson from experiencing more violence.
Yeah. It's a reminder that silence doesn't help.
You have to speak up.
Yeah.
Even though it can be scary.
It is.
That's how you break free from these toxic patterns.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about Atlas and Josh.
Okay. Yeah.
How does this whole thing with his brother affect his growth and his relationship with Lily?
Well, it's definitely a roller coaster for Atlas. Yeah. I mean, at first he's just like overwhelmed. He's excited. He's curious.
Right.
He wants to connect with his brother.
But Josh is understandably cautious.
Right. Yeah.
He grew up feeling abandoned.
Yeah.
So he's resentful.
Right.
It's not easy for them to reconnect.
No.
Josh's anger comes out in destructive ways.
Yeah.
Alice has to be really patient and understanding.
Yeah.
But even though it's hard, he doesn't give up on Josh.
Yeah.
He sees the pain behind his anger.
Right.
He knows they both have those scars from their childhood. It's a really powerful example of empathy.
It is.
It reminds us that to truly heal, you need forgiveness and understanding.
I think it's really important to point out that Lily is super supportive through all of this.
Yeah, she is.
She knows how important this connection is for Atlas.
Right.
And she encourages him to build that relationship with Josh, even though it means facing some tough truths about their past.
Right.
It says a lot about her character.
It does.
She's not threatened by Atlas wanting to have his brother in his life.
Right.
She actually encourages it.
Yeah.
Because she knows it's part of his healing.
That's what makes their relationship so great.
I agree.
They're not just lovers.
Right.
They're partners.
Yeah.
They're confidants.
Yeah.
They're there for each other's growth and happiness.
Absolutely.
The beautiful picture of a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Where they can both be themselves.
Yeah.
Flaws and all.
Yeah, totally.
And that leads us to the part where Atlas takes Josh to meet their mom.
Oh, wow.
How does that change how they see their past? And how does it affect their healing journey?
Okay. Yeah. Oh, it's a tough scene.
Yeah.
You can just feel the weight of their past.
Yeah.
All those years of feeling abandoned as they stand there with the woman who gave birth to them.
Yeah.
It's like they're facing a ghost.
Yeah.
Trying to get answers to questions that have haunted them their whole lives. But their mom doesn't really give them any closure.
Right.
It's just a reminder that she wasn't able to give them the love and care that they needed.
And it's not just that she wasn't emotionally there for them.
Right.
We also find out that Atlas has another younger brother.
Yeah.
That he never knew about.
Right.
And this brother is still living with their mom.
Yeah, and they're living in poverty.
It just adds this whole other level of complexity to their family.
It does.
And it shows how trauma can cycle through generations.
Yeah.
And how much parental neglect can affect kids even into adulthood.
It's really sad.
And Atlas just feels responsible for this new brother.
Of course.
He wants to protect him from going through the same pain that he and Josh went through.
Yeah, that's so Atlas.
It really shows his character.
Yeah.
Even though he's going through all this emotional stuff himself,
yeah,
he's still thinking about other people.
Right.
And offering that same compassion and empathy to his little brother.
Totally.
He's come so far.
Yeah.
And he's so determined to break that cycle of pain in his family.
I love that about him.
Me too.
Yeah.
You know what else I love about this book?
What?
There are moments of humor sprinkled throughout.
Yeah. Yes.
It's not all doom and gloom.
No.
Like Lily's best friend, Elisa.
Oh my God, she's the best.
She brings this amazing energy.
I know.
She's like that comic relief.
She is.
And it's just so nice to have that female friendship in there.
Yeah. She's that friend that tells it like it is. She's so loyal.
Yes. And her support for Lily is unwavering.
It really is.
She just brings warmth and lightness to the story.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even when things are tough, there's still room for laughter and friendship.
Yeah, it's so important.
And you don't have to face those hard times alone.
Exactly. You always have your friends.
And now we can't forget about the chemistry between Lily and Atlas.
Oh my gosh, their chemistry is off the charts.
It's a slow burn for sure.
Yeah.
Their love had to survive so much.
It did.
But even with all the romance, Hoover shows us the real challenges of blending families and dealing with past trauma.
Yeah, it's real life.
Their relationship shows how love can heal and help you grow.
Right.
They push each other to face their fears and to be vulnerable.
Yeah, and they learn to trust each other.
Right.
And to really communicate. They build this foundation of respect and understanding.
And it's not just about their romantic love.
Right.
The book also shows how Atlas and Josh's relationship develops.
Right.
They take those baby steps toward being brothers.
Yeah. Those little moments.
Those moments where they laugh together and start to understand each other.
Right.
And you can just feel that resentment fading away.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
It's like family isn't always about who you're related to.
Right.
It's about the people you choose to have in your life.
Exactly.
And the bonds you create with them.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into It Starts With Us.
Okay.
What are your final thoughts on the message of the book?
Okay. Well, what do you think Colleen Hoover is saying about love and forgiveness?
Yeah.
And just the strength of the human spirit? I think this book is all about second chances.
Yeah.
It's about being brave enough to let go of toxic things, to heal from your past, and to believe that you can find love and happiness again, even after you've been hurt.
Right.
It's a reminder that we can all grow and change. We're not stuck in our past.
Yeah.
And with the right support, we can build a better future for ourselves and for the people we care about.
That's beautifully said.
Thank you.
And for our listeners who haven't read It Starts With Us yet,
Yes.
I highly recommend checking it out.
It's so good.
It's such a powerful story that will stay with you.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It really makes you think about your own relationships and how you've grown.
Yeah.
And it reminds you how important it is to choose love and forgiveness.
Even when it's really hard.
So what did you guys think about It Starts With Us?
Yeah, let us know.
What parts resonated with you?
Write a comment below.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Lily and Atlas?
Yeah.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like this video.
Yes.
And subscribe to Motivation Library for more book discussions.
And we'll see you in the next episode.